A bit of special attention. The second point is that it is within the slums. So we are going to give it a little bit more support in terms of ensuring that the children are being taught. But I think you went into the classroom. Apart from overcrowding, everything else is normal. Every child is properly masked. Most of those masks they are wearing were provided by the government of the Republic of Kenya, together with our collaborators. In terms of ensuring that we don't have a crisis here, even though we had already delivered the economic stimulus package desks, I have decided, because I think the president gave me those powers, to vary one or two things, that we shall give another 140 desks to this school. I am going to pick some of the desks which were ready, which were meant for another school, which may not be having a very tight problem like this. 70 of them will be here today, and during the course of the week, a balance of 70 will have been fabricated and brought. Then we shall fabricate and take to the other person that I was talking to. Otherwise, you have seen with your eyes that if we work together, the spirit, when you look at the spirit of the body and spirit of the teacher, the body and spirit of the children, do they require encouragement or discouragement? Let us encourage them. That's all I can say for now. We may not be perfect. There are very many children here. If water becomes a problem, we are on standby to ensure that they have water, so that they are able to wash their hands when they come out. And I think that's all.
Was it considering that there are many parents who will be seeking to have their children come to the school with an already high...
This school will not be available, because you can see for yourself that it's 7,000, it's 4,700. So this one, even though it is popular, it's not likely that they'll take many children. There are many other schools around that we will make sure the children go to. You can see for yourself that I've ordered a variation of shifting of desks, which were supposed to go to another school this morning, to come here. And I will then go to the school where the desks were supposed to go, so that I am fair to those children also, to be sure that their pressure is not as much as the one here. Yes, Inatosha.
Maybe just the last one.
Now, thousands of learners were in the rush to get to their respective schools in various parts of the country. Nanok Lauren has been doing a spot check in Nairobi's CBD and now joins us live. Nanok, how is the situation right now?
Yes, Dennis, I'm currently at one of the uniform stores here at the River Road, right here at the CBD, just to witness the last-minute preparations parents are making ahead of today's reopening. Remember, as learners across the country have resumed learning today, the 4th of January 2021. And here currently where I am is one of the uniform stores. And a few minutes ago, parents had streamed in here to make different purchases, socks, T-shirts and sweaters, name them. And currently, this is the situation. I visited 2 stores a while ago, and we saw long queues at the entrance. We had long queues of parents, and inside the shops were congested to a point we were not allowed to enter and see what was going on. But where I am, if I can move slowly, is also a uniform store that parents have been making purchases since morning. And with me currently, if my cameraman can move forward a bit faster. Currently you can see so many uniforms on the countertops ready for purchases. And with me here, I have one parent who is currently concluding his purchase. Sorry for the mess right there. And if I can talk to him shortly to just tell me what the process has been today, what kind of purchases he has made, and the last preparations he has made. Yes, so introduce yourself, tell me your name, and tell me the purchases you've made today, the last preparations. We've seen schools reopen today. Kindly tell me about that.
Well, my name is Julius. Today I came to purchase T-shirts, sweaters, and socks. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're making this last minute. So is it that were you prepared before, or is it that you have now prepared today to make the purchases since students have resumed learning today? Are you left behind, or is it the right time?
Well, we are a bit late, but it is because of the economic situation that we find ourselves in. That is why we are making last-minute, purchases, because we are trying to put together, finances in order to make these purchases. Yeah, that is why we are a bit late, but we are not very late because our children will be going to school from tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. So still this week, some of the boarding schools are still have given us an opportunity to take our children to school. Yeah, so my children have not gone to school today. They'll begin to go to school tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. That is why I came to purchase today. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I hope you'll continue preparing your children back to school this week, I believe.
Yeah.
And when they go to school, I believe they'll be ready with each of their uniforms, right? So Dennis, this is the kind of situation at uniform stores here in Nairobi. And a few minutes ago, I also toured to a number of bookshops. Believe it or not, the bookshops are still full capacity. Many parents have streamed in to make purchases of different stationery, and they are saying this is their last preparations they're making before their children resume learning throughout this week. Many have reported today, many still are going to report tomorrow and even the day after. And we can have the pictures of the bookshops having parents, a number of them who are making their last minute purchases. And we can say that yes, it is the last minute preparations, but these preparations are much needed for the comfort of the students who are resuming school. Remember, these children have been home for the nearly past 9 months due to COVID-19, and finally they are back better and stronger to continue with their studies. And if I can just recap how the day has been since morning, we've seen CS Magoha supervise the reopening of schools at Kibra, and also toward a number of bus stations where we saw a number of students heading over and to begin their journey back to school. Some were still stranded waiting for vehicles that it's around the afternoon, so many vehicles have now closed their journeys. Those that are on the roads are the only ones that are going to be taking their children back to school, and the rest have to wait for tomorrow. So we still have students who are at the bus stations waiting for their matatus or even buses to arrive so that they can make their way in there, get to school before curfew hours. Those who are not going to make it today, they still have tomorrow. They still have the after and even throughout the whole week to report to school. Remember, this is the reopening of schools that many parents have been preparing on a short notice. They've just come from the Christmas season, and they're doing all they can to ensure that all their students come back to school. And that is it for me here, Nanok Lauren, at the CBD, and we are going to be looking at more developments across, throughout the day. Back to you, Dennis.
Wow, that is Nanok Lauren doing the most to ensure that she brings us up to speed with the school reopening process. Thank you very much, Nanok Lauren, for that comprehensive update. Now, still on schools and matters education. As schools reopen countrywide, Kakamega Primary School has been a beehive of activities this morning as parents and pupils reported back to school. Armed with thermogans, teachers ensured all pupils had the right correct body temperatures and masks before allowing them in. However, the parents who spoke to TV47 expressed their dissatisfaction with the policy of locking them outside the school compound. Initially, they escorted their children up to classrooms and handed them over to their respective classroom. They worry that maybe the requisite health protocols are not met to the latter. Attempts to speak to the school's head bore no fruit as she was busy organizing for alternative learning areas, as the school has a population of over 3,000 pupils with limited classrooms.
Tumeleta watoto mara ya kwanza, alafu na kidogo hatuoni kama mambo yako sawa, manake hatujaruhusiwa kuingia ndani kitu cha kwanza, na matayarisho ambayo shule imefanya hatujui ni yapi ambayo imefanya online. Sisi tungeliingia tuone yale matayarisho shule imefanya, hata yakiturudisha tuende nyumbani tuone kama labda hali iko sawa, tutamekuja mahali ambapo pako sawa, alafu at least hapo tumekuwa free. Lakini sasa naona kama hatuoni kama mambo yako sawa, maana hatujui matayarisho wamefanya vipi.
Kwa majina naitwa Linet, mimi niko na mtoto class 1 ako na miaka 6 na niko na wanasara ako na miaka 3. Sasa leo si kuja nao wote, nimekuja na huyu wa class 1, lakini vile nimefika hapa nimeambiwa hakuna kuingia ndani, na tumezoea tunakujaga tunawapeleka kwa darasa, wanakaa na walimu wao ndio turudi. Sasa leo tunashangaa itakuaje, watakulaje na bado wako wadogo, na ningekuja na huyo wa nursery ndio nashindwa ingekuaje. Tungewaweka hapa kwa gate na tumewazoesha kupeleka paka kwa darasa.
Lakini changamoto tumepata hapa kama wazazi, unajua kuna wale watoto wadogo kama wenye walikuwa wa class nursery, class 1, alafu wale ambao walikuwa ndio wamejoin shule kwa mara ya kwanza. So
now, after the closure of learning institutions last year due to COVID-19, Roka Preparatory Primary School classrooms had been in use to rear chicken, and also the school field turned into a farm. James Kongo, a proprietor, said it helped them highly during COVID period, and now the school has taken back its shape as a learning institution, saying they are ready to receive pupils back and resume studies. Now, according to Catherine Ngona, a parent, they are happy that the government has decided to reopen schools, as students had started forgetting what they had learned, saying they will try to cope with hard times ahead. On the other hand, Custom Mill School in Githurai has closed its doors as a learning institution and has now been converted into a business center.
Nikampanda mboga za aina ambazo tumekuwa tukizitunza na kuziuza na walimu ambao nilibaki nao, akiwemo mwalimu mkuu, kaimu wake na secretary wa shule. Lakini ambapo imetangazwa turudi shule, vile vile kuku ni ndege na wanapaa wengi wao wamepaa tayari katika na kuuzwa kwa nyama, haswa wakati huu wa Krismasi, na wachache ambao wako basi bado tumewatafutia nafasi ya kukaa mahali pengine kinyume na shule. Kwa hivyo hatuna wasiwasi, tuko tayari kufungua hata kama ni kesho. Tuko tayari, madarasa yako wazi sasa.
Hata kama kulikuwa na changamoto tutasukumana nazo, na ni vizuri watoto warudi shule. Shule wamejitayarisha, wamezingatia, naona wamezingatia zile mikakati inatakikana. Amen.
All health protocols to combat COVID-19 pandemic as schools reopen today are in place in many of public primary and secondary schools in Bungoma County. But due to high population of students, social distance remains to be a nightmare. In Bungoma DEB Primary School, which has over 3,000 students, at least 2,000 students reported back to school today, a class taking between 100 and 130 students. Speaking to TV47, the school's head teacher Tobias Hissa also insisted that town schools have got no shades as proposed by the Ministry of Education.
Tunajua kwamba tunaenda kuwa na changamoto nyingi kwa sababu kama sisi Bungoma DEB, swala la social distancing is not an issue here, because hatuwezi hata kuongea juu yake kwa sababu tayari hata kabla ya COVID-19 watoto walikuwa wamejazana kwa darasa, na tangu wakati huo mpaka saa hizi hatuna lingine tumefanya. Sasa hilo ni kitu tunawaachia Mwenyezi Mungu labda atusimamie, kwa sababu hatuna suluhisho kufikia saa hizi. Labda letu ni kwamba tutahimiza maneno mengine ya COVID-19 protocol kama vile wearing of mask. Tumehakikisha kwamba kila mtoto, tulikuwa tunatumia wazazi messages, na kila mtoto angalau kuja na mask 2. Na tena maneno ya maji, tumekupitia kwa area MCM Mheshimiwa Maguda ametupatia maji yenye hata hailipishwi, kwamba inaingia kwa shule. So we have flowing water which teachers are tapping, so tunaweka kwa mitungi ambayo pia inatiririka na maji. Na swala la kuosha mikono hatuna shida, labda shida ni sabuni, na we are trying to start with somewhere so that tukiendelea kuishi hapa tutaimarisha, lakini tuko na sabuni ya at least kunawa mikono. Mengine ni kwamba Tumehatarisha watoto kutosalimiana na chochote ambacho kinahusika na COVID-19 protocol tutataka kuzingatia. Lile ambayo hatuwezi ni social distancing. Vile waziri amesema kwamba tunatumia any available shade. Shule za town kama hizi hakuna hata shade.
It's about time we take a very short break. Remember, you can always interact with us on our social media platforms, as well as the direct SMS line indicated at the bottom of your screen that goes by the number 22047. Now, do not go too far. We'll be right back with more informative news.
When COVID struck, the healthcare giver was becoming the first line defense. After the public health measures had been overwhelmed, I was approached by Equity Bank to come on board and see what we could do to ensure the healthcare worker was protected to look after the Kenyans. We said, let us sit down and go through virtually everything that was available. What had been made locally is not fit for purpose. Most of what we were getting to see that was fit for purpose was imported. So we asked ourselves, as the supply chain gets strained because the world was in limbo with the long supply lines, what do we do to ensure that when we ask for these supplies as healthcare workers looking after fellow Kenyans, we can have access to them? We were able to have a symposium with over 100 local manufacturers, assisted through the Equity Group, to discuss manufacturing with the specifications that were desired. We suddenly had things being made locally here, whereby we could walk to the factory, have a discussion on why this is not right, on how to improve. And I'm grateful also for the team of the specialist nurses and clinical officers, because we would make many journeys to these companies to have a look at the material, to have a look at the production. We made things that I myself would comfortably wear to look after patients that have COVID. That to me, it's something that really Kenyans should be proud upon.
Equity, bega kwa bega. Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now the program continues on a scholarly note. Now, Uasin Gishu Education's officials have cited achieving social distance as a major challenge for most schools, with many of them not having enough desks to accommodate the learners. The officials who toured the schools this morning said they have put up intervention measures to start counseling programs for all pupils and students. They also said girls will be given sanitary towels across the country.
You are still in class?
Kiambu County government has directed Kiambu Water Company to supply water to schools within the county in order to curb the spread of COVID-19. Water has been the main challenge in the institutions as the normal learning resumes today. Meanwhile, teachers in Kiambu County say they are well prepared for the resumption of lessons, as they say that they are getting an increase in number of students for some.
grandson from a private school, and I know he is going to go up in a public school. I had carried this soap purposely for this boy. Fortunately, we were brought soap, so I don't think we have any other problem. But I could urge the government to give us enough desks so that these children can keep enough distance.
Tumekubaliana kama Kiambu Water Company na kila area, kila eneo ukienda upande wa chini Kiambu West.
Narok South security team mounted massive operation in Kandeya village, Oldonyo Nyiro location in Ololunga division to flush out a notorious gang of criminals locally named Kandeya 6. According to Narok South Deputy County Commissioner Felix Kisalu, the dreaded gang has been terrorizing residents by spearheading illegal occupation in private lands, conducting cattle raids and thefts in Oloshpani and Oldonyo Nyiro locations in Narok South and Olosomporo area in Narok North.
Yes, sir.
Watu wacha kuinama chini.
Unainua kichwa acha uso ionekane.
Kama wananchi wa Narok South, sababu genge la majambazi ambao wamekuwa wakihangaisha wananchi wetu katika area ya Kandeya katika Oldonyo Nyiro location. Jana tuliweza kufanya operation kubwa na kuweza kuwapata wanachama wa hilo genge ambalo lilikuwa linajulikana kwa jina la Kandeya 6. Hili ngege limekuwa likiiba mifugo katika area ya Ololunga in Narok South. Saa ingine wanashirikiana na wezi kule Uposomoru katika Narok North. Hili genge pia limekuwa likishambulia wazee wa vijiji.
Tulishi ya kwamba kuna walibu mahali wamesumbua wao kwa muda, na tukaweza kuenda kusaidiana na wao. Area inaitwa Kandaiwa, Kandaiwa village, Ololunga location. Tukisaidiwa na wananchi tuliweza kuendeleza hiyo operation, na tukapata kusaidika, tukaweza kushika walibu wa 6 ambaye hata wenyeji wame nickname Kandeya 6. Kandeya.
From that criminal affair to yet another crime committed in Mandera County. A man was killed in Kutulo sub-county, Mandera County last night under unclear circumstances. Residents demonstrated the killing, as Isadin Haji now reports.
This is a call for justice after one of their own was killed in Kutulo sub-county in Mandera. Family and friends protest in the streets, calling for justice for their slain relative.
We have lost now confidence and trust in our security personnel who are on the ground because of their reckless behavior or indiscriminate killing or judicial killing that is now going on in this part of Mandera County, in particular Kutulo sub-county.
Tunawaambia serikali ya Kenya, sisi ni wa Kenya, sisi ni raia yao, wakianza hii mambo kama hii, sisi hatukubali.
The deceased alongside 2 men is said to have gone to look for a camel that was injured at the outskirts before he was killed. Locals say that the 3 were then stopped by security personnel.
Kitu kama saa 3 watoto wetu, vijana wetu wameshikwa wakiwa wanaendesha tuktuku yao, wakiwa wametoka kuchukua gamia yao yenye ilivunjika kwa msitu. Wakawasimamisha vijana, walitia amri, wakasimama, wakakaa, baadaye wakaanza kumchapa, kuwachapa na wakaanza kuwafiatulia risasi.
Angry protesters touched structures in Kutulo police station. Police fired live bullets in the air to disperse the protesters. Kutulo residents now want independent policing oversight authority to investigate the matter and help bring perpetrators to book.
Tutafuatilia mpaka iende kwa IPOA, Ifike serikali mahali yenye itafika yote, at least tupate haki, na hawa askari wako hapa hawatulindi, ila wako kwa kutuua sisi peke yetu.
Not only him, but several have suffered, several have been killed, several have been tortured and maimed by security personnel whom we are. And we don't understand why people are running away from Al-Shabaab and they are running away to Kenyan government.